Welcome to Oslo during the fall. As you can see, it's almost like England. It's cold and wet. I don't want this video to be pure clickbait, so I'm going to tell you almost exactly what I earn as a PhD scholar at the University of Oslo, which is my new job. Thank you for your kind words of congratulations. The thing is, my salary is really public knowledge here in Norway, because I am working for the government, as all universities in Norway are publicly funded or funded by the government, and well, they run by the government also, really. I earn approximately 479,000 Norwegian kroner, which is approximately 52,000 American dollars. And as far as a graduate student goes, that is really good. I might as well mention that it is not common for graduate students in Norway to go to grad school after their undergraduate degree and then continue onwards towards a PhD. I've done my master's degree separately, you might have noticed in another video, and now I have actually applied for a job in the research group, which will award me a PhD if I do well enough, so that's quite nice. But I think that the common salary for a graduate student in the form of a teaching assistantship or a research assistantship is a lot lower than what I have. So I am very happy about it, really. But first, let me tell you about some of the other options for jobs that I might have had after doing a master's degree in computational physics. Well, before I said yes to this current job, I already had a job offer at the AI and automation department for a large IT and data science consultancy. And that was for a little bit more. I think it was around 56,000 US dollars. So all in all, quite good. And it is arguably very interesting work to be able to work with artificial intelligence, and it was also a little bit better paid. Adding to that, I have heard of graduates in computational physics, from the same place that I went to, the University of Oslo, that have landed jobs up above that in salary as well. But my point is that if I wanted to maximize my salary after graduating, I could have done a lot better. So why did I choose to stay in academia? And that is a somewhat difficult question to answer, and I will try to get to it. But first, let me lay out some of the other options available to someone that actually chooses to do a master's degree in physics. After doing physics, I found that you are very well equipped to do almost anything that I find interesting in the private sector or the public sector or anywhere. You become, especially if you focus on computations, that I did, you become somewhat of a combination between a data scientist and a software developer, which is very sought after these days. People I know that graduated before me have gone on to become bond traders, to develop software for satellites. Some people I know, they even build this centralized healthcare system for all of Norway. Most of computational physics graduates will become some sort of software developer or IT consultant. And I know that most of them, or all of them I think, are very satisfied with what they're doing. So to be a bit more specific, let me get into some of the jobs that I have had as internships while still studying. A few years ago I landed a job at a fashion brand actually, and we were 5 students working there as summer interns. It was paid as well, very nice. And we embarked on developing this app for this line of clothing, really. And it was really cool. And what was even more interesting was that I didn't know how to do anything at all. I'd never done web development. And I said so during my interview, that I have no idea to do this job. And then told you, well, you've done computational quantum mechanics, I'm sure you'll figure it out. It's really quite easy. And that was nice. I am very thankful for the opportunity. And so we built this app. It never went into production. It was more of a prototype, the stuff we did. And it contained gamification, like these achievements that you did if you bought a line of clothing for a specific season or whatever. And it also had this loyalty scheme built in. It was cool, it was fun. So it's a combination of business and economics that I have done before I went into physics, and also development, which was fun. The summer of last year I worked for the Norwegian rail authorities. They're called Bane NOR, and there I worked together with 2 two other students, one girl and one guy, and we tried to build a machine learning model supposed to predict the effects of a severe unforeseen incident on the rail network. So for instance, if a train crashes into a reindeer, how long would it take for the trains to be back up and running? It was also very interesting. We used these recurrent neural networks. Recurrent neural networks are networks that have are machine learning models that have a time dimension. So we wanted to see if something happens here along the track, how will this affect the train traffic later on or further out in the system, the network of that is the railroads. Let me get into what I'll be doing for my PhD project and why, and I hope that you will understand after I've talked about it why I chose to do this and not going on to become an IT consultant or something. First, let me tell you about computation in science and how that works. Computation, and by that I mean using a computer to numerically solve or approximate the solution to something that you cannot solve analytically, or to visualize a problem, has become more and more important in science. Let me give you a very simple example. Everyone that does their introductory quantum mechanics course, they find the ground state energy of the hydrogen atom. With one electron, another electron to the model, you get helium, right? One more electron, you get helium. And as it turns out, just this simple problem is impossible to solve analytically with the proverbial blackboard and chalk. So already there you need a computer to solve it. It is obvious that computations are important, and at the University of Oslo the faculty have been quite revolutionary or very forward thinking in trying to implement computations and the use of programming to solve problems in physics very early. In fact, in the first semester you have calculus, everyone does calculus, and you have an introductory Python course, and also you have this special topic on numerical and approximative methods. So actually, when you do physics at the University of Oslo, you are not allowed to do any physics until the second semester, where you do mechanics. Interestingly, already there you're able to solve problems that you're not able to solve if you do things analytically, like the modeling of friction and air resistance, which are important problems in physics. And usually you just say, oh, we ignore air resistance in this problem or whatever, which is a bit well, stupid, because it doesn't model the real world. To model the real world you need computation. So what my PhD project is really is to try to assess these computation implementations. I have ventured away from pure physics, in a manner of speaking, and I am supposed to be doing physics education research. And in some people's minds, most education researchers, they are regrettably seen as second-rate citizens, but I see this as something very valuable. The value of using computation in physics education is an open question. We don't really know how much does this thing add. There are a ton of assessments and standardized tests that are supposed to measure conceptual understanding of mechanics, for instance, but there is no such thing for computations in science. Learning any kind of algorithm might be useful for doing science, but it is very difficult to gauge how much does this little piece of knowledge increase your understanding of physics. And this is sort of the question that I am supposed to answer, and right now I'm actually a bit terrified at this problem, because it seems almost impossible. But at the same time I'm very encouraged by the support I have received at this group that I've started to work in. The research group I'm working in is called the Center of Computation in Science Education, CCSE, and it is a center of excellence. I don't know if that means anything to you, but in practice what it is that they are deemed as the research they're doing is seen as very important, So they essentially are given a ton of money to continue what they're doing. And I'm at the very center of this center, and well, my first few weeks have been very interesting. The good thing is, on paper, I am a good match for doing this project. I am Norwegian. I understand the culture of the Norwegian students here at the University of Oslo. I know how I've been through the program and all the computational lectures and coursework and all that. So I know what the students are doing, and kind of it's easy for me to get into their mindset. I have worked with the databases before, so I'll probably be able to set up and collect the data that I need to collect, because nobody's done that yet. I know some statistics, mostly from my economics background, of course, which is important. I also have worked with machine learning methods if that will become necessary. And also I'm not too afraid to discuss something very openly with the professor. Criticize their course, essentially, which can be good. And what is more, I have worked for a year as a teacher, and I worked a lot as a TA and a private tutor, so at least I have some view of the pedagogical challenges of teaching. I think that's why I got the job. And now I will try to get into the reason that I said yes to this position. Well, I am given almost an infinite amount of freedom. I could do whatever I want as long as I reach the goal of the project. Well, I will get paid anyway, but I won't get a degree. And that is very, very appealing to me. I can, if I argue the case well, go abroad and kind of attach myself to other research groups that are doing similar things. So if I reach out to someone and I say, hey, can I come to and see what you guys are doing? I'm allowed to do so. So already in a month and a half, 6 weeks, I'm going to Michigan State University, and there's talk of me going to Boulder already. So I get to do all of these cool things, and if there's some sort of equipment I need, the center director has essentially said, they'll just buy it, just tell me what you need and I'll buy it, no worries. I'm unleashed. That's how it feels like. If I was working at a large corporation with 3,000 other developers and IT consultants and data scientists, then I would not even be allowed to pick which kind of computer I would be using, you know? I don't know if any of this makes sense to you, but what I've really done is that I have opted for slightly less salary, a bit higher anxiety levels perhaps, but all in all much more freedom. So it's a bigger gamble. If I manage to do what I'm supposed to be doing, and that is to assess or to kind of gauge the learning value of computations in science education, then that's a huge payoff. And if I manage to create an assessment, it will probably be used all over the world. It might not work. I might not be able to find anything. And right now I'm supposed to be writing my project description and my goal and put in milestones and all that to kind of have a plan. But at the same time I feel like I really need some sort of backup projects or side projects along the way, just so I'll be able to graduate. But yeah, I'm very excited. And I'm a bit terrified. I am essentially embarking upon what I think will be a very interesting part of my life, and I hope I'll have time to share some of it with you. I've been very busy so far, so please subscribe. Thank you. If I reach 1,000 subscribers, I will do a live show where I implement a neural network using Fortran, which is something I have no idea how to do, so that'll be interesting. So please subscribe. Do it. I'm off to London now, actually. I'm just taking a walk in the park and filming this. Yeah. Bye.